Group of friends sitting down talking about the world. Fake deep think, leave me alone. We kind of
Dickin'.
John.
What's up, guys? You're
Doc.
Yo. Yo, what's up? Yo.
Myself, Eugene. Hey, fake deep thinkers. Welcome back to the Fake Deep Thinking Podcast. We got the fake thinkers, John. Doc.
Yo.
Producer in the back, Ian. I'm here. And
here.
my son,
President.
I'm here.
I exist.
And myself, Eugene. I like the Dobby one.
Mm-hmm.
Dobby needs to be free. All right, sorry we're like 2 minutes late. Just making sure the mics were working because we don't know what happened last time, or my mic for some reason wasn't working. I was only getting picked up on John's mic, which sounded funny, and we had to fix that in the middle of the podcast. So we're going to start off with the controversy around Cam Newton. So Cam Newton went on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, and they didn't really ask him a specific question. He just started talking about, I guess, his background, and he kind of went into the influence his mother had on him, and from that influence, I guess, his expectation of women, the type of women he dates and wants to marry. And there was a clip that they kind of took out of context, like literally just him saying, we'll get into it, but they took like a 30-second to minute, like out of context clip of him saying what he said, and they extrapolated that into their wild opinions about how he's like basically a misogynist and all these negative things. So I went ahead and found the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, found the particular full segment where he talks about it, and we're going to watch it in context and react and see, like, is Cam Newton a misogynist, or has he got valid opinions about what he's saying? So
Wait, quick question.
Go
though.
for
Is he still playing?
No,
Oh, okay.
he didn't play this year. His first year not playing. He hasn't officially retired.
I was about to
yet,
say, did he
but-
retire, or is he just taking a
but this
break?
pretty much, I'm sure, retired him because he already had one.
This
incident.
retired him.
He already had one incident where he lost sponsorships because of a lady with a female reporter was asking him a question, and he was like, "Oh, really? A woman asking me about a something?"
Oh, no
Wow.
way.
Did he really do that? I don't remember that.
Oh man.
Was he joking, or was he being serious?
Hey, my boy, use your Googles.
Well, here, I'll watch this, and if you could, Ian, see if you can try to find that clip, just to add, I guess, context to this, because that might fuel why some people said what they said. Because if that's true, that might make a little bit of sense. All right, so let's start this up.
So I'm not one of these dudes to be like, bro, I'm gutter, I'm this, I'm that. Man, I had a perfect example of what a man was in my life by my father. My parents have been together for 36, 37 years now, and it's a beautiful thing. I grew up in a 3-parent household, my mom, my father, and my grandmother. And I knew what a woman was, not a bad bitch.
Okay, what's the difference?
A woman.
Pause.
Okay.
So this is where it starts. The clip starts here when he said, I know what a woman was, not a bad bitch, and then it goes on, I'll tell you where it ends. Go ahead, play it again.
Bitch is a person who's just, girl, I'm a bad bitch. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I look the part, but I don't act the part.
Okay.
And it's a lot of women who are bad bitches, and I say bitches in a way not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Now,
That's pretty much
a
where
woman
that
for
clip
me
ends.
is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs.
What's up, Merc and Frogs?
And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, like I'm a this, I'm a that. No, baby, like, but you can't cook.
Okay.
You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
Now, a lot of women, now the kickback of that is be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet for the man and handle his business. That's what they say. Oh, I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'm gonna be submissive to a man and handle his business. That's what they gonna say. So what is your?
But it's ways to do it. And I'm not just about to sit up there and beat up my queen.
No, I ain't saying like that.
But I'm also gonna also tell the men to start being men, bro.
Absolutely.
That sucker shit should not be rewarded.
And what sucker shit? So
when a person carries himself social media wise, and it's a fraud in real life.
okay.
It's more to every person that got money, or every person who's rich isn't a real one.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that gets kind of misconstrued in this society now because a lot of people have money, but they're not genuine people, you know.
Right.
And I pride myself. Everybody who knows me knows, like, bro, Cam's a solid dude.
I gotta
He keeps
pause
his
it, Ian.
circle.
What's up, Ethan?
What's up? I ain't
Nah,
gonna
we ain't
lie.
bored. We were
I'm
just
so
watching.
perplexed by Cam Newton's hat. It's like the feather wants to fall off the hat, but it's not going to fall off the hat. So it's like strategically put on the
It
hat.
looks like a snake is fighting a bird on his hat. Right?
Oh, okay. The feather has been caught by the snake's tail. Got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This
Got you.
feather
I've been
finishing on the bird. I didn't
staring
catch
at
that,
his
but now
hat,
that you
Ethan.
pointed out, that is
My
kind of a
bad,
weird
dude.
placement for the feather. So, yeah, that little segment right there, a little clip where he says, you know, the boss bitches and how they don't know how to cook, know how to. Basically, when he said they need to know when to be quiet is what went viral.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, you know, saying women need to basically shut up, which is not what he said, but they took it as him saying women need to shut up. And
Wait, that was the whole thing? That was the only part that was controversial? I'm not
Basically.
asking. I'm not.
No, I understand. I'm trying to remember specifically what like went. They took a small clip, and I'm trying to remember what specifically I saw that was people were disgruntled about, mainly on the woman side of the community. I guess you could say the bad bitch side of the community, clearly, because he singled them out. And
Well,
it was
I could definitely see why they would get upset because he followed that. Well,
the
the previous
70s
comment
pimp.
was like they can't cook
Been like
and
this
they
for the
can't shut
past
up.
4 or 5 years now.
He threw out the stereotypes, you know what I mean, like the cooking and the shut up like woman type deal. So
Well,
I
I
can
mean-
see why like people would, especially that short tempers, would go towards that. The only thing is that like what he's really saying is he just doesn't like arrogant women.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like I'm making this assumption based off what he said, and this might be a wrong assumption, but he's kind of like a traditional guy, and he wants a traditional woman, it seems like. And I don't think anything's wrong with that. And I think if women who see themselves as bad bitches don't like the way men see them, then I think that's something they need to address because, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but based off some of these podcasts, for example, Fresh and Fit and these other podcasts out there, I don't remember their names, but the most popular one is Fresh and Fit. The type of girls they bring on, I would argue, are the ones who classify themselves as these bad, independent girls. And the problem is those girls genuinely don't know how to cook. Majority of them don't know how to cook or clean or any other stuff. They do it for themselves, sure, but they don't provide that kind of stuff for a relationship. I'm not saying they should or they have to, but when it comes to what some men in the traditional mindset expect of a woman in a relationship, they don't do that. So if that's a point of contention for them, I don't understand why, because if that's not what you want, then or that's not what you want to provide, then why is that an issue for you? Like, I don't know. I think it's funny that women who aren't traditional get mad at men who want traditional women. I just think that's weird. I don't know. Like, that's not your fight. You don't have a dog in this fight. Men don't want you. These type of men don't want you. So if they're complaining about you, I guess that's the issue. Is they're complaining about non-traditional women when they didn't even want them in the first place. So I guess I understand that. But then at the other flip side is, why do you care? Like, they don't want you in the first place. I
think
guess
it's
that's
more-
my take.
It's an issue in the sense that like, you know, society's empowered them so they can
Facts.
feel like open about rejection of traditional men. I think the irony comes though when those women want a traditional man, like they want like
Facts,
the
yes.
traditional like male side of things, but the traditional male then wants the traditional female side of things, and then that's where, you know, the waters get murky. But I totally agree with his like take on like just I don't like arrogant women. I don't like them either.
Fair.
And yeah, like I don't know, like I feel like hyping yourself up a lot of times. Sometimes I find those people aren't. They have to inflate themselves because that's all it is. It's just air.
'Cause-
So
Well, I guess last thing I'll let you speak. Sorry, because you haven't spoken yet about this. It's just the whole point when he said about women need to be quiet. What did he say specifically? Was they need to learn to be quiet, or
Know
they
when
need to
to
know
talk,
when to be
Or
quiet?
when to be quiet, I guess.
He probably could have found a better way to phrase that, but I think I understand what he was trying to say, and it goes with the doc said about arrogant women, because sometimes women just like to talk, and maybe not. But let me see if I can find a better way to phrase that. They like to argue. It's not all women, but some women, and I do agree on the bad bitch side, tend to like to argue for the sake of arguing, and that can be exhausting and so draining, and it's just. And I think that's what he was trying to say is. because I mean, when he said it, I agree with it. Like a woman who knows when not to be, I'm gonna use Doc's word, arrogant, condescending, belittling, just all that is refreshing. It's refreshing. I don't know what else to say. Go for it.
I don't think he meant that women should shut up and cook. I really
I don't think
that
he
was
meant
his
that either.
intention.
Same.
He tried to put as much disclaimers as he could throughout the conversation.
He did.
You could tell he was doing all the verbal jutsus.
Tried.
I also don't think that, and this is just based off just listening to you guys, honestly speaking, I don't think that, I think everybody's allowed to have their preference of what they want, right? But I think, obviously for conversational purposes, we do it. But I think most of the time what we have is people projecting their preferences onto other people.
Fair.
So even though he may, for example, he said it, and it always sounds hypercritical when you're being critical of a side that you don't represent. The critique always sounds.
Say that again.
The critique always sounds more harsh when it's coming from a side that's not represented.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like to speak for themselves or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like he's not a woman. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, he could have worded it better. Because to me, and this is what I'm hoping he's saying, so this is me projecting. To me, he's saying, even though the full sentence of know when not to talk or when not to speak or whatever, the full sentence is also know when to speak. Meaning, like,
I still need to know your opinion.
If you see I'm timid, no, not even that.
Well,
if you see I'm timid if I'm at the restaurant and I didn't get something, I asked for green beans and they gave me mac and cheese, and I'm not really tripping off of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping off of it.
I'll trip for you.
She knows I'm not the type of personality to go and make a big deal of it, and not even to make a big deal of it, but just to get that thing done. You get what I'm saying? So I think it was weird, not weird, but just because of where we are right now, it would have been better worded if he didn't focus on the not speaking and actually focused on
the compliment of each other.
The compliment of each other. So, because that's what I personally believe. But
Me
also,
too,
it's his preference. He can't when all these podcasts do these things, you can't project your preference onto. Yes, your preference was going to fit a certain group of people, but it doesn't fit all men. You get what I'm saying? Because there are some men who are good but are very timid and want a loud, boisterous, stereotypical bad bitch that he's trying to define. But we're just talking. What he's talking about is girls with lots of Instagram followers with no money that don't do anything, don't have anything really going for themselves. That's he's talking about specific,
leading with insecurities, like you said before.
Group though, so
he's projecting his what's it called, but then the other people
are leading with their insecurities about it. Exactly, but there are a lot of people also don't feel that or represent that either. So they're feeling he's attacking them as well. Like the girl who's a lawyer, who's doing what she's supposed to do and doing all that, she might also be incensed by what he's saying because she might be the independent woman, or the breadwinner in her relationship, or the vocal lead in the relationship because the dynamics have changed. You know what I'm saying? And if the man is okay with that, then in her relationship, if the man is okay with that dynamic, then he's not technically speaking for that man.
But the funny thing, though, it goes back to what Doc says, the conundrum of the fact that those independent, non-traditional women, though, eventually, I'm not going to say eventually, but to get my point across, sometimes get to a point where they want a traditional man. They're with these progressive men or these non-traditional men, I don't know what you want to call them, but these men who aren't traditional, and they're not...
But what do you mean by traditional? Break that down.
Men or just in general traditional?
Like traditional. What do you mean? Yeah, like
a traditional relationship basically is obviously the man is the breadwinner. He goes out to work to bring home the bacon, the money, the provisions, the security, all that technical stuff, and the woman is the nurturer. You know, she has the kids, she raises the kids, she makes sure the house is well kept, cooking, cleaning, blah blah blah, like that side of it all.
Okay.
To simplify the traditional roles, that's what it was. Non-traditional modern day roles is The woman can either be the provider, the security figure, all that stuff, and the man can be the stay-at-home dad now, because apparently there's been, I don't know the statistics of it, but there has been a rise in stay-at-home fathers. That is technically a non-traditional household role dynamic.
Okay.
And I'm not saying whether that's good or bad, but there have been, I'm not saying they're majority, but there have been some women who have expressed their distaste when it comes to traditional gender roles or dating roles, but then they pursue men who have traditional mindsets or at least mannerisms. And that's a conundrum because it's kind of funny.
It's not even a conundrum. Actually,
okay,
you just said it. I agree with everything
go.
you just said, though. It's not a conundrum because then don't date them. Why are people complaining about the people they don't want to date? There's somebody for everybody. Like there's the women that are complaining about the non-traditional men. Go get a traditional man. Like
but
what?
They can't though. That's the funny thing.
What do you
the
mean?
Traditional men don't want them.
Okay, so boom. You got to find what you can get. That's just what it is. So you can't complain.
That's why it's a conundrum.
No, it's not a conundrum. You just can't complain. That's life. You can't complain about something. If something don't want you, you're going to force something to want you. That's not what that is. So it's like we're literally complaining that the thing that we want doesn't want us. Is that what you're saying? That people are complaining that the thing that they want, the stereotypical, the whatever they look for, their perfect mate, they can't find. So they don't want what's available.
Yes.
It's more so the idea that they want to, what's that saying? Like their slice of cake and
they want their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, like they want it all.
So you're talking about a group of delusional people.
Yeah, like that's the issue, and I think that's what he's. I guess that's what Gene, not Cam Newton, is kind of getting to. Like, there's like some people that haven't taken the time to do the introspection to realize that they want the traditional man, but also the freedoms of the inverse in themselves. But they can't have it all. Like, you kind of have to give to get in that situation. So you're either
compromise
gonna go for
or
traditional
whatever,
guy, or you're gonna give up the traditional minded guy and get like the progressive whatever, while you become whatever it is you want to become. Like, you kind of have to do that understanding. And I think if you want it all, you kind of have to do it in silence. Like, you can't really just keep bitching about it vocally and complaining and stuff like that to force the world to give it to you, because that just seems kind of wrong. Like, you end up becoming an arrogant woman, I think, or an arrogant man. Trying
like the whole
force
world is
everyone
the problem
around you, to give it to you, and it's just like, no, like, if you want it, like, understand that you want something that's incredibly difficult and probably impossible, and so you have to kind of suffer this struggle in silence until you finally get it, and then once you get it, hold on to it.
Because, like I said, I try to put this disclaimer when I first brought this up, because I don't know if this is the majority or the minority. I'm only going off of the type of women I see in these dating type podcasts, from Fresh and Fit to Kevin Samuels to these other knockoffs of Fresh and Fit who want to be like them in other places, and the other knockoffs of Kevin Samuels. Not trying to be disrespectful, just saying like it's similar content, and it's appreciative because it's given a lens potentially into how women think. And I don't know if they're the majority or the minority, but based off the representation that has been representing some of the community of women on these podcasts, that's the conundrum that they're facing. At least they're finally realizing is there are these new modern women who want to be in this modern dating, but they're not happy with the dating pool that they're being exposed to, and they want these type of women, these type of men, but those type of men want a more traditional woman, and they don't want to be a traditional, like, it's a conundrum, like I said.
I think we forming these ideas based off of CNN polls. That's what it sounds like to me. It really sounds like when I'm hearing it out loud now, like I've thought these thoughts too. But when I'm hearing it out loud now, it's like, son, yeah, but how many of those people do you really interact with? Like, everybody has a little bit of everything in them. You feel me? Like, I'm not saying that these people don't exist that are on the internet, but I'm saying we're going to these specific sources and seeing these groups and interacting, and we have to remember these people that are creating their content are interacting off of what's getting the most views. So if the wholesome videos get the most views, guess what they're going to start doing? The most wholesome stuff. But that's not the stuff that gets the views. So now you've already put your information that we're looking through on dating through a lens of views, but that person's lens is also, I need toxic shit. So we're viewing some toxic shit and then basing like thinking like, oh, you know what, all women, we leaving the crib, all women thinking like, oh, blah blah blah, and then women thinking, oh, I need to go bust a play, I need to go get a trick. Everybody thinking like, you know what I'm saying? It's not. I haven't interacted with that many people that actually all the way believe one way or the other way, is what I'm trying to say. And so I think the dating in the real world is a little bit more realistic, to the point where you probably meet people doing the things that you like in places that you like to go.
Well, I'm sure you find people you like, but it comes down to whether or not your personalities and character and all that stuff kind of match it.
But I'm saying if you're a traditional woman, right, and you're saying, oh,
honestly, fuck the traditional
or whatever,
stuff.
but there's places is for that.
I get what you're saying. I guess what I'm trying to get at is I don't want to focus too much on the whole traditional, progressive, or modern kind of woman, man, dating, or whatever. I just think it comes down to how we grew up. There seems to be a lack of compromise. Women want their cake and eat it too, and arguably I think men want their cake and eat it too. And the problem is we're not talking about how to actually build relationships. All we're talking about is what I as a man can get from a woman and what I as a woman can get from a man. That's not how you build relationships. Relationships, like you said before, and I'm pretty sure we've all agreed and said something similar to this, is about compromise, a level of sacrifice. What am I willing to let go of for you and what you're willing to let go of for me, and what we can do to make this work? How can my puzzle piece fit with your puzzle piece? Not how I can force my puzzle piece to jam into yours to force this to work, or take advantage of you to milk something out of you. Like, that's what, when I watch this stuff, that's what I see. It's not me trying to reaffirm my like, I'm more of a traditional kind of guy, but it's not to reaffirm my traditional beliefs or to enjoy content of men shitting on women. It's to understand what seems to be the missing element. And for me, the missing element, and I could be wrong here, but it seems to be a lack of compromise on both parties. It's just women tend to be more vocal about their dating preferences or wants than men are, because most men, correct if I'm wrong here, maybe my bias here is most men just want to fuck, and we're willing to say and do whatever it takes just to have sex.
My last point on it, I seen something today that said men are dating women's bodies and women are dating men's pockets, which is funny, but
kind of accurate.
But I will say too, all this shit don't matter. I forget it, dude. All this shit don't matter, dude. Like, it's fake. Like, all the toxic shit on the computer, all that shit is fake.
Like I say,
you go outside.
It gets people
if you're a Christian person, if you're a Muslim person, if you're whatever your religious person, and that's like the most important thing to you, chances are the person
church.
you need to be. It's like that's how it works.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to figure that out myself personally. You got anything, Doc?
That's the other thing I was like kind of mulling over my head, because it sounds to me like he's actually speaking at what he's seeing on Instagram. And then he's just like, he's seen these videos, and then he came into the podcast and kind of spoke like, oh, I hate all the women in these videos and stuff like that, or like on these Twitter tweets. So I don't know if he's actually meeting them. I mean, he lives a completely different life though. He hangs out in $1 million areas.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I've never met people on that stature. So maybe he does see women that are exactly what he's talking about in person. But yeah, I've never really seen anything like that. I have seen people though, like, and I've experienced myself conflict between women that like want the whole cake. And I say that because I remember being in a relationship with somebody who was extremely progressive, and I just kind of let them do their thing. And then at some point they turned around and they're like, how come you're not a businessman? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that wasn't the deal. Like, I get to be not that because I let you be what you fucking want to be. And all of a sudden you're asking me to do like the most traditional shit, like wear a suit and go into a fucking like own a business and stuff like that. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
You actually experienced that?
Yeah. It actually
wild.
fucking it rocked the fucking whole relationship after that, because like there was a dude that she knew that was a businessman, and obviously like he started pulling her from me, and I was just like, dude, like this chick was like hardcore feminist, and all of a sudden like
Isn't that funny? Isn't that a
yeah,
conundrum?
I was dealing with some fucking like traditional guy shit that I was just like, damn, like what the fuck? It was really weird, man. Like I said, the whole relationship was pretty strange, but it does go to show that there are some women that like they want and they vocally state that they want something, and then when something more traditional comes around, like the allure of it takes them away from it and stuff like that, and you just kind of have to deal with it. I mean, I now, like years later, I'm kind of just like, that person was in a weird fucking headspace, and it wasn't me. It was just that whole
100%.
situation.
Nobody
Yeah.
makes a podcast about people not wanting them.
Yeah.
They don't. You sure?
I mean, the type of guy I like doesn't like me. Where are we hearing that? What content creators on that?
I mean, they're probably not popular, but I'm sure
Exactly.
Yeah, they probably have like Instagram accounts, but I don't know if they have a whole podcast bitching. Like, damn,
or
because that'd be
TikToks.
insane.
No, and also
Fuck,
you're
man.
allowed
It
to.
sounds like it might be actually be possible now.
And-
The more I think about it.
Also, you're allowed to date and find out what you like and don't like too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe she thought she liked a non-traditional thing, and not specifically for your case, but maybe she thought she liked something, and she found out she didn't through the experience, and then it was like, okay, cool.
But I guess
I definitely do think that's what happened, because I eventually met them later, and she was more with a guy that like was super progressive and stuff like that. So I think that person was also like, you know, a lot younger than me at the time. So it's just like, oh, okay, like they're doing their thing.
Was he a
And that's
businessman though?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like later
Y'all,
on, like
this businessman word is crazy.
when I ran into her
Because
again,
he used it for the guy.
she
like
kind
that.
of leveled it back out, but like definitely she was kind of going everywhere, which was honestly, that's when I reflected, when I was just like, oh yeah, I was a little bit older, and I myself was like, you know, waving back then and stuff like that. So I was like, okay.
No, that was weird. Let's address Ethan's comment here. So, take it from an old man. The best relationship is when two people know who they are, or at least the best one can, and are willing to come together in mutual respect for one another. Acceptance, respect, and being down for one another without pushing expectations or expecting them to read your mind. Yeah, it comes down to communication, and I think
That sounds dope.
similar to what I said, and I don't know if you were saying I was wrong to me or what John or Doc were saying, but
He
the
said it
level
way
of
before we all
compromise.
spoke.
Huh?
He said it way before we got into it.
Oh,
I didn't know
okay.
what he was talking about.
Yeah, it's a compromise and also communication. Because to compromise, I need to be able to understand what I need to compromise on, what you need to compromise on for me. It's a back and forth kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you completely. It just comes down to two people wanting to make it work. And when you want to make it work, you communicate and you compromise. I'm sure there's more to it, but I mean, to simplify it to two things, I think those are the big two: compromise and communication. The big
Sounds
C's.
wonderful.
All right, let's do one more, then we'll do a shout out to Angel Blinds. So, and what's a good segue from this one? I guess let's get to the Saint West controversy. Some more. All right, so
Oh, I thought you were talking about a church.
no.
I was like, what happened? Oh, jeez.
So Kim and Kanye's child Saint came across. He was trying. I forgot what the game was called. But he was on his iPad playing a game, and an ad popped up saying how if you click on this ad and blah blah blah, you can watch unreleased footage of Kim K's and what was his name again?
Sir Lord Ray J.
Ray, thank you. Sir Lord Ray J's sex tape. And she obviously wasn't too happy about it. So let's real quick watch a small little summary of everything that happened from Extra TV, and then let's dive into the kind of the humorness of it. So go ahead and play it, Ian.
Now to Kim Kardashian, who's threatening to wage her own legal war over an alleged second sex tape with Ray J.
It's not okay, though. It's not.
The first episode of the Kardashians' new Hulu
She got
show
that
was
crowd-proof
packed with
makeup.
tears
That's
as
wild.
Kim panicked after
Dude,
her
her crying is
6-year-old
so cringe
son,
to me.
Saint, somehow stumbled across an online ad claiming there was unreleased footage from her 2003 sex
I ain't gonna
tape
cap
with
you
Ray
down.
J.
Since
An emotional
Kanye and her
Kim
broke up, her
actually
fits
called
been
her ex
trash.
Kanye on this one.
Over my dead body is gonna happen to me again. I just want it gone. This is not gonna with me.
Those
She
all
also
like Kanye
immediately
colors,
got
too.
on the horn with her lawyer, legal wrecking ball Marty Singer.
Hey, let me get
She's
you.
pulling
Let me
no
get this
punches.
beeline of you
I have all the time,
walking down the
all
hallway.
the money, and all of the resources to burn them all to the ground.
All right, go ahead and pause it, Ian.
Cuba.
Cuba's showing up.
My boy always fighting a different case. Hey man, whatever they think he did, free Cuba, man. I'm sure he did it.
So I thought this was funny because one, Kim's reaction, just her, I guess, cry face. I don't even know what kind of face it is. I don't even know if that's crying. It just her distraught face makes me laugh every time. And two, it kind of goes back to a conversation we had before. Ian, come get your cat real quick. I just don't trust him on the couch. And I just don't. It goes back to the conversation we've had before about talking about if your mom. I forgot specifically. I don't know if it was about Kim K specifically, or if it was. I think it was about Lana Rhoades, where it's about your mother having all this stuff on the internet, specifically about porn and stuff like that. How it would affect the kids. And I remember you guys saying how. I don't know if it was Doc was in this or if he agreed with you or not, so I guess I'll put it all on you. It was about, why do I care? I'm driving a Lambo or whatever
I think you're pretty much,
you said.
I think you're summarizing my point pretty
poorly.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I was focusing on the funny thing you said. Because you try to prioritize the joke, and that's what I'm trying to focus on. Your joke was, why do I care? I'm driving a Lambo.
I'm sure you care to. I'm sure I don't feel like my opinion would have changed.
It was a whole thing about being proud. I care. I'm rich. I got money.
But no, I feel like that's what you're taking from what I said.
Okay, then help me out.
And I feel like I don't remember, obviously, but I feel like
I
would have leaned more towards. It depends on the scope of what you're talking about.
What do you mean? Like the
scope if it's worldwide or whatever it is? Yeah, exactly.
The viralness of it?
Exactly. Like
Lana Rhoades and Kim K. It's pretty viral.
Lana Rhoades, obviously, the kid would what the fuck? Like. What the fuck? Obviously, the kid would grow up and see some shit about the thing. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying when the kid probably got older. Okay, so that makes sense. I probably said when the kid got older, they'd have to deal with it, obviously, but the benefits of whatever they did.
No, it wasn't about older. I said maybe it was about older. I think
for me to say it in a Lambo.
Your reaction sparked for me saying them getting made fun of. They'll get bullied for it.
Yes.
And then you said their response would be, why do I care? I'm driving a Lambo or something like that.
Well, at the time we were talking
that does not sound like
an
anything
older
I was
kid,
saying.
though.
I think that's not.
Hold on, what are you saying, Doc?
At the time we were talking about an older kid, somebody that was like in high school and stuff like that. I don't think we were talking about like a small child.
I think it was like if you were in high school and it came out.
Yeah, like if you got bullied for it by other people.
That's what it had to be. Because just the way you're saying it is just no. That doesn't even sound like the way I would put it together.
Well, it was a long. It was when we
it was a while ago.
We were
yeah,
in the closet pretty much. That's when we had the conversation. That was a while back.
Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby? Nope.
Because I guess that's my question. Because I think it's funny because now she's finally seeing the ramifications of her sex tape and her pretty much. Well, I guess let me ask this before I even say this.
Mm-hmm.
Would y'all agree that part of her fame and success has come from the alleged sex tape? Some people say yes, some people say no.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure a portion of it. She had it before she was pregnant or even married, right?
Not the same way.
She what?
So like the first sex tape, it came out before she even had a family, right?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. It was like, I think they said, 20 years ago?
It was a minute ago.
Yeah, before that, prior to the sex tape, she was, Paris Hilton's, closet organizer or something like that?
Oh, my God, don't say that. She hung out with Paris Hilton. Her father was a well-known attorney. He's part of the legal team that fought for OJ. So, they were well off.
But of course they were well off. Yeah. But what she was doing at the time was she was working for Paris Hilton. And what she did for Paris Hilton was some kind of, I don't know if she organized her closet or bought her clothes or something like that, but she worked for Paris Hilton. And then after the sex tape, when she gained notoriety through the sex tape, she didn't have to work for Paris Hilton anymore. People knew her as, the...
I didn't think she worked. I thought she was just
every woman tried to become after that.
Mm-hmm.
God
I feel
forbid.
that. I feel that. But yeah, no. It was that magic wand.
Being...
That's how she got it on and popping. But look, son, look, I'm telling you, son, that sacrifice though that she made, that sacrifice, that's not Chloe's sacrifice.
They all benefited from too.
Boom. So they push her in front. Kim, and watch how supportive they're gonna be.
Of course, they're gonna be supportive. I guess. I don't want to say people because I don't know if it's people. I guess for me, it wouldn't be so annoying seeing her react the way she's reacting. Like, for example, I don't want this to come back up. I want this to be gone.
Wait, hold on. Let's clarify. They're talking about a whole new sex tape coming out that was not released. You get me? Not a released sex tape. No.
It could have been about.
That's what the ad said.
Fair.
And also, it makes sense because Kanye a month or two ago came out and said he went and got the second portion of the sex tape.
Oh, he did.
You see context, my boy. You see? So he went and got the second.
Dang,
Yes.
he made moves.
So Kanye is the one who's saying
Why
all
you
of this.
divorce this man? He went
She's
through all
on the
that.
phone with Kanye right now.
So my question, real quick, I need for my understanding is this before or after the breakup?
This is probably during. I don't know how long they've been broken up for real. It's Kim Kardashian and Kanye.
I just find that grimy. Like that's
She knew when she needed to get something done, she could depend on him though.
isn't
Hey son, if I go to a fight, I'm picking my craziest friend. Let's go. You feel me?
But then I'm bringing in the whole what's that freaking guy's name tatted on SNL?
Pete.
The Pete
Oh,
Davidson,
yeah,
the weird
Pete
guy.
Davidson.
Yeah, Pete Davidson. Doesn't that then kind of diminish their relationship? Because with
I don't know if they were dating.
like
here.
that's why I want the context.
I
So
think
this
that's
is
different though because the person she's calling is the father of the child.
Yeah,
So
and the
that's
child
totally
saw it.
different. Yeah. So like he has to get involved because I mean he's probably involved in Saint's life, so it's different than calling Pete and like just completely kicking that guy out.
No, I agree with you. But then the other things that were going on that maybe we probably should have added that to context of this whole conversation then about Kim apparently not letting him come to the birthday or whatever it was, and he had that video rant. Kanye had that video rant about all that stuff. Like it's like when shit hits the fan, you call him. But then on the other side, when the opportunity presents itself, you're also shitting on him. Just like, I don't know. It's just, I just think she's a grimy person.
I think they
personally.
deserved each other, son. I'm gonna be
That's
so
fair.
real with you,
know,
because
that's
man,
fair.
look,
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
fuck with
Toxic people date toxic people.
Yeah, dude, because Kanye cool and all, but boy, Kanye also not cool in all. Like, he be bugging sometimes too. So like, they probably deserved each other, and at this moment, she knew this was something that he probably either they spoke about before, or he either cared about. But to me, the real thing is that waterproof makeup she got going on. She wasting.
She's not
she
even
can make some
crying.
bread.
What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Her face is spin. I don't even want to go there. Never mind. Just she wasn't even crying. She wasn't even crying.
The weird thing to me is that it's all filmed. Like I know that they broadcast most of their life, but part of it makes me suspicious of if it's even real or not.
Dude, this whole family's fake.
Like, dude, they're recording her discussing a traumatic
But let me
moment
tell
in
you
a
something.
child, and it's just really kind of fucking weird, man.
Let me
It's
tell
so
you
weird.
something.
Okay, go for it.
She's still benefiting off the magic wand.
Other thing I'm
right
thinking about
now.
too. Yeah,
We
like,
only talking about this because of the first one.
yeah, she's playing it up, and that's what makes me suspicious. I'm like, dude, I feel like even though it happened, she probably, instead of being like, oh my god, Saint, no, she was just like, oh my god, Saint, we're gonna make so much money. Like, let's fucking get the camera crew in. Get the camera crew and give me my phone. I'm gonna call Kanye.
Let me break out the fake waterworks, the crocodile tears. Let me make an issue
That's
by
a
this
deep
by claiming I'm a
conspiracy.
sue. I'm gonna handle this. How I'm gonna handle this is I'm gonna sue.
Allegedly, or maybe. I don't want to get sued by for defamation. Maybe. This is
Allegedly,
what
we don't
conspiracy.
know. We're going off of what we.
Freestyle. Because boy, she's talking about some big lawyers in this clip, boy, and I don't want to see nothing. What go? Can you show the lawyer? The wrecking ball.
His nickname is
Yeah,
the
what
Wrecking
the
Ball.
wrecking?
Show the
Yeah, right.
wrecking
The
ball.
wrecking ball.
I don't want no smoke with the wrecking ball.
Yeah, you can rewind it real quick so you see the lawyer.
Oh,
There you go.
oh my God. I don't want to see him walking down the hallway.
Do 10 seconds back and let it walk. Look at the walk.
Wow. The Steve Harvey collection
Yeah, bro.
suit.
He's moving in to just fucking clear out the next wall,
Jesus. Yeah, I don't want no smoke with him. I'm good.
All right, let's move on. After you said that, let's get away from Kim K because we don't want the wrath of the Kardashian family. God forbid.
This podcast.
All right. Shout out to Angel Blind. So, you want to take over? You want to sing it?
This podcast is sponsored by
Hey.
Angel Blinds, a local Atlanta GA area small business. The blinds help you get a new look for your living room, to your bedroom, to your dining room. They even have custom kids blinds with their favorite superheroes like the Wrecking Ball lawyer or Kim K. You could even get the magic wand with our promo code FDT.
I'm so mad you did that.
But that's Angel Blinds After Dark. With our promo code FDT, our audience gets 10% off their first purchase. You can find them on Facebook page Angel Blinds or Instagram Angels_Blinds. Bow, 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 growl, growl.
This guy, the magic stick. Oh my gosh, magic wand. Hold on. How does a 40-year-old whose notoriety is fading get back in the news? Bring up a second sex tape. Honestly, facts, low key.
Set yourself up for another 20 years.
For another 20 years. Well, maybe. I mean, like he pointed out, and she is 40.
Whole
Do you
nother
think that'll-
dynasty, son.
I think they would be set up for another
Honestly
20
speaking-
years if it was a Kylie Jenner sex tape.
Honestly speaking,
Or
I'm
a
be real
Kendall
with you.
Jenner
I'm not
sex
gonna
tape.
speculate on what you're saying right there. I'm just gonna keep it pushing past that. But
Well, what I'm trying to say, like, because
what's the most beneficial sex tape?
Exactly.
It don't
You
matter.
think people
No
would care
sex
about
tape
another
will ever take place that will ever benefit somebody as much as hers
Okay,
did.
valid.
You get what I'm
Valid,
saying? Like,
yeah.
honestly speaking, let's be real here. If somebody had to, if there's any woman on earth who should have been a porn star, not a porn star, or had a sex tape, she's the only one. She is the only one who proved the value of the sex tape.
Time out. Question.
Correct.
If OnlyFans was a thing back then, do you think she would have made OnlyFans?
Billionaire. She would have been 50% owner of OnlyFans by the second week.
51% shares. Straight.
Yo, I think so too. I think she would have been the OnlyFans model.
Kanye would be like,
the OnlyFans
your bitch
model.
got an OnlyFans. Well, my bitch the only one that own
I personally
OnlyFans.
I think so. All jokes though, please don't come at us. All right, let's transition to another funny topic. Actually, I don't think this one's funny.
I was about to say,
No, this one's hilarious. Let me show y'all why. Continue.
All right, so we're getting into the viral video of a North Carolina teacher resigning. So we first saw this. Well, I first saw this on Abba and Preach, and I was like, man, I kind of want to talk about this because I thought this was kind of, I don't know. Let's just watch it and then we'll react to it. Can we kind of skip this disclaimer? Okay, boom.
So I can dismiss the
This
rest
is
of
why
the
this is
class.
funny.
Does anyone else want to try my authority? Because I
Okay, you see,
fucking
already.
don't play with you idiots. I am here because I want to be here. I somewhat enjoy this job. You need something from me. I need nothing from you. You can go through life and live on the fucking system, draw your paycheck on the 1st and the 15th from my taxes, and live just an absolute horrible life. I don't care. You can be another statistic. I don't care. That's on you. And if you think it's funny, I can take you down to the county office and we'll pull the fucking numbers. And if you don't like my language, I don't give a shit. Because you've said worse. And if you, again, Samaya, you leave too. Get out now. Get your shit. Get out.
I'm not.
Get out now. I didn't fucking ask.
Damn. Okay.
Oh, man.
So let's get a little context of what's going on. Because after I saw that, I was like, I need to know specifically what triggered him. Because it's like, man. Okay, so this was in Jacksonville, North Carolina. A teacher from Southwest Onslow High School in Jacksonville, North Carolina, resigned last week after a viral video spread on social media. On March 17th, a staff member of the school reacted with what Onslow County officials called intolerable behavior in front of students. The video contains audio of the teacher screaming and using inappropriate language at students. The student who took the video in the classroom, sophomore, I don't even try to say that name, Josie, said her teacher became angry after a comment a student made to him. Josie said that morning the teacher gave them a quiz over what they were learning in class while he played war reenactment videos on the screen. She said the teacher allegedly asked them to put their phones and laptops away, and another student made a comment saying, quote, "I'm going to put my computer away before you start whining and whining," unquote. Josie said this student and her teacher had a joking relationship, so the comment wasn't abnormal, but it's what caused the outburst. Scroll down, let's see if there's anything else. I'll read a couple more paragraphs and let's get into it. She said the teacher then proceeded to yell at the students. Josie then got her phone out to record because of the language he was using. She said the teacher redirected his anger at her because she was laughing while recording. I don't think that's specifically why. The teacher then got in her face with a golf club. What? The teacher then got in her face with a golf club, swinging it on the desk and floor, as well as throwing a book on the ground, according to Josie. Last one, let's get into it. A student from another class overheard the commotion and came in to intervene and pull her out of the classroom, said Josie. She said the most hurtful thing her teacher said to her was that she was going to be a statistic living off in taxes the first and I think he didn't say that in the, okay, let's get into it. So, boom. Let's get into this. So, first thing I just want to address is I don't really think his language was all that crazy, in my opinion. I think I've
He
heard
was
worse.
Bugging.
I'm not saying he wasn't bugging. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying his language specifically.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
I've
abusive.
definitely heard worse.
It wasn't abusive towards him. Like it wasn't. None of the F words or anything was. It was directed towards.
You didn't call them fuckers or little shits or anything
no,
like
he
that.
just. I think he said idiots. That's it. I think that was.
You can be idiots if you want and live off the dikes or something like that. Okay, fair. Boom.
No, he straight up calls them idiots. The first time he's like, "I'm tired of something with you idiots."
Okay.
And,
Okay.
And then he keeps going. But that is the only, I think,
reference to them.
degrade-
Yeah.
degrade
Yeah,
word he
okay.
throws directly at them.
Okay. But I guess first thing I want to address is like, I don't think that was out of the normal, especially in high school. That's when I first was reading this and preparing this was this in high school? And if, like you said right there, boom, Onzo high school. That makes sense. I've had so many teachers to coaches to non-coaches like curse or even say
100%.
some things
Way
that
worse.
were inappropriate, that were way worse.
Way worse.
And it goes to the now to complete my point is, have students got a little more sensitive?
Obviously, the students have got a little bit more sensitive.
Obviously, I know I'm making a very obvious point, but I just want to bring it in so we can get this discussion going. I'm trying to jumpstart the conversation.
No. I'm saying they obviously have. Like, it's literally apparent.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even questionable at this point anymore. Like, you see it in how we're handling everything. But can you blame the students if they're students? They're learning this from somewhere. Like, they're students.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's definitely facts.
So I wasn't saying that to poo-poo your point or nothing like that. I was just saying, like, it's physically apparent. But to that point, he's dead ass wrong then. Like, he can say what he's saying and he can make his points. But the whole point to me is the emotion behind it was not. He could have said those things calmly and actually not been in trouble. You feel what I'm saying? Because he didn't direct it specifically at, but
I hear what you're saying, but let me finish your point and then I'll disagree.
I'm saying because he was yelling is what I'm saying. What if you're saying what he's saying wasn't too bad? If you take the yelling out of it, how is that taken? Do you think we still have the same report?
I don't think you'll have the raw video, but the issue also is, would they have listened to him and respected him? And like it was cringe when he said it, but they wouldn't have respected his authority. They wouldn't have listened. They would have done what he asked. Blah blah blah. Like. That's why I said I went through worse. Like at my high school, I'm not gonna say what high school, but at my high school, like kids, they were brutal. Like I remember them cursing at teachers. You know, sometimes even throwing things at teachers. Like I remember we had a substitute teacher one time, made her leave the class crying.
I believe it.
I was like, wow.
And to your point, the student didn't say whining and whining. That's not regular language. The student said bitching and whining. That's most likely what they said. 2, she's conflating the end of the video when he said the statistic thing way earlier in the video. Her problem is she live recorded her face, so her reaction shows that him saying that did not affect her in the way that she's stating it did afterwards. But to her point, a lawyer would say, "Oh, it didn't soak in or whatever. She was in shock." That's what a lawyer would say. That's all I'm saying. But they're both just wrong. Like the students was probably wilding, doing all the shit that they're not supposed to be doing, and the teacher, obviously, like I remember, I have a teacher who has that voice in my head right now who lost it just like that. But
me
like,
too.
you know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. He was a history teacher, and like he lost his shit. But the thing y'all have to, I guess, what we're actually supposed to talk about is, do you think it was racial? Because
and there's two things, but go on.
The statistics and all the stuff he said, you don't want to be a statistic, but he was very general. He wasn't specific. He didn't say anything about anybody's color. Is the demographic in that city mostly black? Is the demographic in the class mostly black? Like, I don't know these things. So I can't speak to if he was, you know what I'm saying? I just think he was an upset dude trying to say you'll end up in jail or something like that if you don't take school seriously. And they probably weren't taking his class seriously.
I've seen teachers get mad like that all the time, and they always threw that same argument, like you're going to end up living off the government. That was always like their go-to. Like, I'm super frustrated with y'all. Y'all are going to fall through the cracks, flipping burgers and stuff like that. And that's like always the go-to aggression I always heard. But like to Gene's point, like there's two ends of the spectrum whenever I've heard teachers pop off. Like they either get so frustrated that they just turn into that dude and they go like drill sergeant mode, or they get so frustrated that they break emotionally and just start crying and run off. Because I've seen the same thing happen.
Same.
I think really the weird issue of it all is that you have kids weaponizing surveillance.
Yes.
And that's the freaky thing. Like as an adult, that's something you have to consider. Like, and you have to kind of preemptively think about it whenever you interact with a kid, because he's gonna surveil it and he's gonna put it out on the internet and try to like cancel you and stuff like that. And he knows it works because he's learned that society just accepts it at this point.
Yeah.
And that I think is gonna bring weird conditions. Like, I mean, before it was always just like turn off your cell phones, don't get texts, and like if you get caught texting in class, like
take your
you get
phone.
in trouble.
Yeah,
exactly. But now like everybody has a phone, and you can hide them. People have like the watch can fucking text, man. Yeah, what am I gonna tell them? Take off your watches and stuff like that. Like that is kind of weird too. So there's just so much surveillance that teachers I think have to account for it, and I think it's making the job extremely difficult. And this guy was probably just like a super old school teacher who's used to just like berating kids to get them to kind of fall in line, you know what I mean? And
like a disciplinary kind of thing.
Yeah, like a disciplinary teacher, like that's probably his style. And
that doesn't work nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work because everyone's being watched.
I don't know if everyone's being watched. I don't know if it's your phone or my phone, but get it away from the mic.
My phone's dead.
Oh, okay, that's probably my phone. Yeah, that's...
Well, maybe, okay, I agree. It's probably not everyone. Let me rephrase that. Everybody has the potential to be watched.
Which is good, because think about this. Think about this, right? In the past 40 years, let's say 45 years, we went from the teachers being able to whoop the kids in the school to where we are now. That's a lot of change.
But I think there has to be
really fast. It has to be paced. There has to be regulated and all that stuff. So
fair.
There's a balance. We're overcorrecting. But to that point, I just want to ask both of y'all one question. It seems like the teacher is really similar to what a celebrity would go through. Like as far as being filmed, you got to be careful what you say.
Like the Britney Spears outburst.
Just even the stuff that comes with the job. If you're like for example, a star athlete,
and they were all there to record
and you're getting heckled and you lose it, and we see the athletes lose it, and we're like, oh, you're getting paid millions, and obviously a teacher isn't getting paid millions, but like it's part of the job, is what is often said. So like, what part of that is part of the job, and when does it stop? What is, you get what I'm saying? Because like, they have a lot just to a star athlete, they have a lot in comparison, like to compare as far as like what they have to deal with on their job. Because kids are horrible. Like, they're terrible.
I think that's one thing we don't consider anymore, is the fact that kids, especially in high school, are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these teachers, like, we expect a lot from them. Well, I'll address your point real quick, and I want to real quick address a point that Auburn Preach specifically made, which was, or maybe it was Abba. Either way, on their show, there's a lack of teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers don't get paid much
at all,
and there's also, from the lack of teachers, there's a mass exodus of teachers. So now we're about to do this. We don't know if he's a good teacher or not. They try to make, I don't know if they or some comments I read try to make the argument that because of his passion and emotions, it shows that he actually cared. His little rant showed that he cared. Maybe not. We don't know. But now to address your point, as a teacher, specifically in high school, what can you and can't you tolerate? Because you're right. If students aren't listening to you, they're disrespecting you, being belligerent or obnoxious or just dysfunctional or whatever, disobedient, whatever you want to call it. Like, what can't you now exert when it comes to maintaining the class, as the word he used, flexing his authority in class, having a position of authority in the class? Like, that's why I don't really care the fact that he uses words. He got a little heated, use some words. Like, who cares? Like, it's in high school. These kids can handle words. They should at least be able to handle words. And in modern times, that seems to be harder and harder, which is incredibly unfortunate and sad and very revealing in our society nowadays. But they should be able to handle words. And the fact that from the video, the kids understand, like Doc said, utilizing the surveillance aspect of their phones, now understand that if I can get my teacher to get riled up, I can potentially get a case against him if I don't like him, to either one, get fired, or two, gain some popularity brownie points on my high school social status. It's like, it's just, where does it start? Where does it begin? What can and can't they do?
Okay with canceling anybody's source of income is wild.
Very wild.
Like, it's a wild thing. It's a wild thing.
So I want to ask a question to you. Oh, go on, Doc.
I think before you ask your question, I think the dangerous line is when you start using it to dismantle, like, a discipline. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I do kickboxing and stuff like that. Like, if my coach is teaching me something and then I film something and I, in the context of the class, I mean, like, look at him, he's abusing me. And then, because I just don't personally like that person or something like that, or maybe I just get like a wild hair, I decide to be evil or something. I don't know. Fucking the nega doc comes out, you know what I mean? The negative version. And so that's when it gets kind of weird.
Is that what you said,
like,
Doc? I don't know. That N-word sounded awfully weird.
I don't know, man.
No, I'm just fooling.
So, like, what I'm saying, though, is that, like, when I start using it in extremely selfish ways, and I know that it can dismantle discipline and, like, institutions and stuff like that, then I think it starts to become degenerate and just completely, destroying society and stuff like that. Because I feel like that teacher, like, unless he was genuinely, like, and it's rough because I don't have the context of, like, this personality and the situation individually and stuff like that. But if the guy was genuinely excited to teach them about, like, the particular moment of whatever his course was, and then he just looked over and saw these kids just kind of, like, not
distracted
even caring and stuff like that. Yeah, and then he just kind of got frustrated.
Every teacher ain't Coach Carter, man.
Yeah, he just went off and stuff like that. But, like, Coach Carter couldn't exist anymore because he would just get filmed giving one fucking, like, mean talk to a kid. Denzel Washington
doing suicides.
Lean on Me couldn't exist.
Yeah, Denzel Washington couldn't do it. Remember the Titans? The moment they fucking saw him screaming at Petey, they would have fucking canceled him, and he would have lost his job, and he never would have gone on to win the state championship. Like, that's kind of the dangerous thread that we're walking with that. And I think a lot of kids don't think about that because they're just kind of in it for themselves to be like, oh, I'm gonna,
trying to go viral.
Yeah, come at me, coach.
Well, it's just selfish things, exactly. Viral, like, they want that fame, that notoriety, just to be whatever, like, popular. And that brings me to the question. Perfect, honestly. Perfect, because it brings me to a question now. Do you think, believe, or is there some kind of balance to teachers being able to discipline? And I use that word discipline loosely because I don't mean, like, literally, like, spank or beat, but, like, how can teachers...
My parents used to pull up and specifically let the teacher know we understand the laws, but you can beat our child. Don't worry. We understand. No, don't worry about that. Me and you can beat our child. And so that's what how I grew up.
So you had to know, like, I got to be right.
That's how I grew up, man. But you said, is there a specific what?
I'm trying to find a better way to word it, different word than discipline, but I guess to get my question out there is just, where's the balance to discipline when it comes to teachers and students? Do you think teachers should discipline? And that's why I said the word discipline loosely, because I don't literally mean like spank, beat, or whatever, even though, and like you said in the example back then, some teachers did and some teachers didn't. But there was that, I guess, fear of the teacher having that disciplinary authority over you that kind of puts you in check, arguably. That is now out. Like, there is no more respect when it comes to teachers. Like, no more respect. Zero.
That's how you get popular. In fact, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But,
so for me, the disciplinary thing, I've always found the line that I learned, like, in sports, music, and all that stuff. And it's, you have to maintain the person's self-esteem.
Mm.
Like, for one, you have to listen to them, and you also have to maintain their self-esteem. But aside from that, like, I think for me, the disciplinary thing where I go too far is that I'm pretty elitist. And so to me, if you fail, you fail, and I don't care. So, like, I work with you, but if, like, you know what I mean? If you're not showing me the effort, I don't care if you fail. So I'll put in the time and then see what happens and then just be like, all right, bye. But that's kind of it. Like, a lot of mentalities like, no, you have to do everything, you have to nurture them, and you have to do it. And it's kind of just like, dude, why? Like, if you want to learn this, come to me, and show me that you want it. I don't know. Maybe I'm like too into kung fu movies where I'm just like, you're gonna walk up those 1,000 steps every morning if you actually want to learn what I got to teach you. If you don't, well, then I'm not gonna waste my time. And so that's kind of me, where I have to be like, fuck, okay, I actually have to teach them, or I actually have to try to make them enjoy the class, or I actually have to try to figure out how I can get them to learn more and stuff like that. But I mean, if I had free reign, like I wouldn't care unless they showed me that they wanted it.
See, I saw two methods in my high school. One method, and this came from the coaches, because most of my teachers growing up were my coaches. Like, I mean, my history teacher was my coach, my physics teacher was my coach, my math teacher was my coach. Like, I was in sports every season. Like, all my teachers were practically my coaches. So, like, I already knew if I acted up in class, I was going to get it when it came to practice. That was that side. And that's another thing that when it comes to teachers is the coaches had a little more patience in class because they knew, oh, wait till I get you on that field. Suicide, sprints, all that stuff. Like, they just knew. But then the flip side, the teachers that weren't coaches, even though this specific one was a coach, but she wasn't my coach, what she did, it wasn't a discipline thing. It was a motivational thing, which was, if you're doing good in my class, I don't care what you do. I remember when I learned that, I made sure every quiz, every test, I got A's. And I left that class early every time. To the one point, one student called out, like, why does he get to leave early all the time? And she said, if you make the grades like he does, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Verbatim, that's what she said.
She have her hair in a ponytail?
Yes. Oh, yeah, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I didn't go to your school.
Oh, fair. But
how does he know?
She actually taught all of us, all my brothers.
Teachers that did that, man.
Dude, it was
gave an ultimatum like that.
Yeah, it was dope.
I chased it. I was like, all right. I remember I had one science teacher, and she was just like trying to get us to all. Because I mean, I went to a pretty impoverished school area, so like,
same.
Getting kids to pass the state exams was hard for them. You know, just because like the level of education and like the level of income there in the area. And so I remember I didn't really care about the class, but like I was coasting through it. And she was like, all right, if you all get like a 90% or above on the state exams, you don't have to come to my class for the rest of the year and you pass. And immediately once I heard that, I was like,
okay,
oh,
bet.
That's the goal.
Exactly.
I was the only one in that class that did it. And I never fucking showed up ever again. And she caught me one day in the hall and she's like, I didn't actually think you wouldn't show up the entire time.
You said it.
Coming every night. But I was like, you made the deal. You
said
it. She was really pissed about it though. And so she did pass me, but she passed me with like a C for the rest of like the last 6 weeks. I guess it made sense. Like she did keep her end of the deal, but I think she was so disappointed that I just like stopped completely even walking through the door that she was just like, all right, I'm only going to do the minimal on my end too. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
I guess.
But I got a free class period.
She should have elaborated more simply what she meant then, because if she said you don't have to come to my class anymore, then it's like, hey, that's what you said. If you wanted me to come in every now and then to show up, just to show face, you should have said that.
If we
actually, well, sorry, let me just mention this because I actually think I worded the story wrong. She said you will pass my course no matter what.
Okay.
And so when she said that, I just stopped showing up. So I did kind of dick her out.
Okay.
And she got pissed, and she was like, "You fucker." And so she gave me the C. So I did pass, but she only did the minimal because I took super advantage of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense now. Go on, Don.
I was about to say, if you can put cameras on every cop vest, I'm pretty sure you can put cameras in every classroom.
I thought they. No, they did it in hallways. I remember being in the hallways. There was cameras everywhere.
There's nothing that should be going on in the classroom that it's my privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, full audio, everything. If you can put that,
even less teachers. That so many teachers I wouldn't teach.
Yeah, right. Like
it's not even for the teachers. It's
right.
It's to protect the teachers.
Arguably, to protect the students. Do you think who that would affect? Who do you think that would protect more? Not the teachers.
I believe there'd be a certain decorum that the student would have to show.
You think they would? I don't think they would at all.
I mean, I could just say on the camera. I'm not even going to argue with you. I'm just going to look at the camera. Like, what? If you yelling, I'm saying, hey, if I'm however it begins, whatever happens.
Case optimistic
Okay, then if
But
the
I don't think
context
that's
of
how
his
it would be
situation,
used.
for example, if he feels like he's being unfairly,
fair.
if he feels he's being unfairly looked at, right? The North Carolina teacher feels it's been unfairly because
yeah.
it's out of context.
Okay.
If that camera would have provided the full context
Okay.
of what happened, and he feels he's genuinely right,
Yeah.
he would have said, "Look at the camera." You know what I'm saying? What
I
are
mean,
you
maybe
teaching that you don't need to be on the
Maybe
camera?
that is the answer to something like this. Because something like this, we need
Obviously, pay the teachers more. Obviously, we're not trying to say, oh, spend money on that instead of paying the teachers.
Definitely pay
But
the teachers.
Put the camera. Like, nobody should be scared of a camera.
Not modern teachers. We get new teachers and pay them.
At all. And then some teachers record their lectures, so you can if you miss the class.
You're talking about like professor level work. That's why I think the only way that would work is if you pay
the
them
teachers
more.
100%. But they should pay them more regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But regardless, also, if they want to stop stuff like this, if the kids know, oh, well, the content, I can't just pull out my camera and show one half of the story, then they have to minimize their interaction in that escalation of that story because they do not want to seem or come across as antagonizing as they might have been without the cameras.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Probably talk about this longer than I was expecting. Let's do one bullshit topic and then let's call it. Do you guys want to do Wizards of the Coast or Elden Ring?
I didn't know about either. I mean,
But
I
it was
didn't.
like
I
a-
didn't. What
Well,
specifically?
we both are.
Like I'm on it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Oh.
So I
thought you were going to talk about both at the same time. It was like a fusion.
I guess we kind of could do a little fusion. Both of them kind of would make sense, which is with Wizards of the Coast specifically, and then I'll mention the Elden Ring thing. So for Wizards of the Coast, I think Wizards of the Coast is ruining specifically the Commander game type, and from ruining the Commander or exploiting the Commander format, and from the exploitation of the Commander format, they're ruining other formats like, for example, Standard. Because, and let me say my piece, and I'll do the Elden Ring thing tie-in, which is, so with the, and I got this opinion from when we were having our discussions in our group chat we have about Magic, which was, so Streets of the New Capenham, I'm saying that right, they finished doing their spoiler releases, and a lot of these cards, in my opinion, I don't know if you guys would agree, in my opinion, and it might be because they're tricolors, if you guys understand Magic, tricolors, they're Commander cards. This entire set seems like a Commander set to me. All these cards, if you scroll down, Ian, real quick, I just want to highlight one specific card that made me strongly believe this. There's a lot of them, but there's one specific card. It's a green specific card. Keep scrolling pretty fast. It might be all the way down in the green section, not the, section. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, okay, stop. Stop. This specific card, Bootlegger Stash. Lands you control have tap, create a treasure token. That is, I don't know. It's just, and my problem is in every single set they print not this level of strength, but cards with strength specifically for Commander formats. I do not see this being played in Modern. I don't see this being played in Standard. I don't even see this being played in Legacy. This is specifically a Commander type card. And I guess my issue is Commander was always a community format that the community created. It was originally called Elder Dragon Highlander, EDH, where people got together and said, how can we enjoy these cards that we don't normally see played in Standard, Modern, all these other formats? What kind of format can we make where we can actually utilize these cards? That's when EDH Commander was created, and it gained popularity. I remember going to my Magic store first, hearing about this, and guys showing me their Commander decks, and the first ever Commander release set from Wizards of the Coast was out when I bought that one. It was so cool. Cards weren't really printed for it. They reprinted cards. They didn't make Commander specific cards except for the Commanders. They didn't make cards specifically for Commander, just like Commanders themselves. And then when they started printing cards for Commander, I just personally think that's when Commander started going way downhill, and even the format of Magic going downhill, because who plays Standard anymore? Everyone's playing Arena. I don't even know if people are playing Modern anymore. And that's my rant. Let me hear y'all's take real quick. Do y'all even agree that you guys think Wizards of the Coast is ruining Commander?
I mean, I ain't played in a minute.
No, you really haven't played in a minute. You've been MIA. People have been complaining. You gonna ask Jamie on a rant last week about how you just disappeared.
No, I ain't gonna lie. Some of the cards really got. I don't want to. Hillary Duff told me not to use gay, so they became the ways to win became to me. I don't know. Maybe I might pick it up at standard or something, but I don't know. It just seems.
Did you
like
walk
when
away with a W on
You know
Jamie?
I did.
You
That's
know
probably why
did.
Jamie's fucking marinating.
No, I don't think it was against Jamie specifically, but
the last
I
game you
know
played,
I
you
walked away
won.
with a dub. Yeah, you know. And it's crazy. I'm complaining about Infinite Mana, but technically that's how I won.
Funny.
But we.
Yeah,
moved.
I kind of can see if they're kind of world breaking, because really what they're doing is they're chasing the money.
Exactly.
Commanders made so much money for them, and they realize that like it's just as popular as their base game format. That hell yeah, they're gonna print more stuff into it because they want people to buy the new sets that come out so that they make money. Like it's just a cash cow. So it's a community bred cash cow, but they decided to buy it from the community, and now they're milking it, and so. I guess in a weird way, like we are losing the grassroots aspect of it, where it was just the community taking stuff they made and making up their own game format with it and playing. And now the company's like, hell nah, it's up to us now. We're gonna keep it going. But I do see, I didn't even notice this, but you're right. It kind of is made out to be like a commander type set. Really, everybody has like a leader. And there's all like this formatting and stuff like that. And for those of you that don't know, playing 3 colors, you have to get kind of creative to make the colors work together because it's an expensive.
I played 3 colors.
Yeah, it's expensive to make them work really together, but they're making the game more synergistic for multiple colors like that, so that you can play them easier. The only issue is that you have to buy them. You have to spend money. You have to give them money.
Okay, so there's a format now that you're talking about. Obviously, the company would put the money into it because there's 100 cards. You can't have one card twice. What? I'm gonna drop cards every day, nigga. What you talking about? 100 cards. You can't have one card twice. So you have to make sure you purchase 100 different cards minimum. Obviously, not
personally, I think standard
even
format's
think
better.
about
Well,
that.
I see where John's coming from, but I would argue, and maybe I'm wrong here, is technically speaking, I think the standard format would be more lucrative because if you want to be competitive, you have to have at least, if the card's strong, 4 of the same card. And if that one card is like $50, that's $200 right there.
Okay,
Well,
I can see that.
to John's point though, that used to be it, right? Like I remember chasing cards back in the day when I was like exiting high school that were like $20 each, and I didn't want to spend that much money, so I would be stupid and I would buy a bunch of packs and hope to get one in the packs. But I know I needed 4 of them. In this format now, you only need 1, so you better make that stick that's got the carrot at the end of it pretty fucking long, so that they spend a decent amount of money before they finally get the carrot. You know what I mean? So I think that's why they're putting these cards that are pretty strong in there, and then they're just putting them way out of reach so that you buy all through these packs or you order boxes and stuff like that so you can get that one really rare card.
And if the community wanted to maintain itself, it would just need to do a subsection of Commander that doesn't allow cards after 2019.
But see, American Fox is the same thing. Like, the best part is we can regulate within the play groups. But my thing is, I personally, even though I said what I said, and you definitely can do that, I'm the type of person is, I don't want to ban certain cards within a play group. If the card's legal, and and that's another rant that I kind of don't want to dive into. I'll just make a small thing is I don't like that Wizards of the Coast is banning certain cards for Commander. You didn't even create this format. This is not your baby. This is the community's baby, and now you're telling us what we can and cannot play in Commander.
Of every type. That's what
What'd you
we're
say?
learning here. So Gene hates governing of any type. That's what we're learning here.
I just think that's
Bro.
I just think that's wild. Like, you telling me what in my Commander deck that you have no control over is suddenly banned.
In my house.
Is wild.
In my
And then
house.
now to the format thing. And Paul, let me finish this real quick. And now within play groups, you're right. Play groups can say what certain cards you can and cannot use, but I think that personally takes out low key the fun of it all, because that's the whole point of Commander is using certain cards that either one you normally wouldn't use, or a card that would make your deck that much more fun, synergistic, blah blah blah. Like, it's not meant to be fun for you; it's meant to be fun for me.
But I'm pretty sure the point wasn't for the game to end and like to your point, for the game to end by turn 4, 4 out of 10 times.
Yeah, I hate stacks decks, and I hate combo decks, and the strongest combo decks rely on those cards that are banned. And like, I don't even want to sit at the table if I know it's gonna end in 4 turns. I want to be a fucking kid in a candy shop. I want to see dinosaurs fighting angels and demons and stuff
Exactly,
like
my
that.
boy.
I don't want to just see you legal me to death in 2 turns or anything like that. So I
There needs to
understand why they
Exactly.
banned the
There needs to be
card.
politicking.
But exactly,
Yeah.
that's my thing though, and the problem is with them getting in Commander, that has gone away because now certain cards have become Commander staples. If you run green, you have these X, Y, and Z cards. If you run black, you have these X, Y, and Z cards. Because why? They are so strong that you should run them. Why are you not running them? For example, red with Dockside Extortionist. That is an $80 card, and it's only $80 because it is so strong in Commander. It is so strong, and it revolves around treasure tokens like this dumbass new card they printed in this new set.
Now.
That card is going to be another $80 card.
Say that.
Every green deck is going to run that card. I can tap my lands to create treasure tokens.
Double here.
I'm doubling my mana in a turn, and if I have what's that one card called where I get to untap my mana at the end of my end step? I forgot what that card's called. If you can know what it is, that's what it does.
You talking
Now I
about
get
the
to
one- the green
triple
one
my
that I want?
mana.
The green one that I had.
Wilderness Exploration, I think.
Yeah.
So what you're mad at, Gene, is that they are regulating while not regulating themselves because they're basically like incentivizing purchases, even though they're giving with one hand and taking away with the other. Is that kind of what you're upset about?
I guess you can say that.
Because I do see that point. Like they're saying, like, no, you can't use that. Also, we're gonna make this one thing that's gonna make everyone have to use this.
Nah, Merc and Frogs run it because I'm not gonna lie. If I get my hands on it, I'm running. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it's a legal card, and if I'm gonna run it,
and
I'm
that's
gonna
why I
run
don't
it.
play with y'all niggas. I'm just
Like
that.
I admit that's my hypocrisy. After all this rant, if I get my hands on it, I'm still gonna run it. Like if I get my hands on Dockside Extortionist, that card's going in the Peripheros deck because that would make my Peripheros deck so much more stronger.
Then what's the point? Y'all trying to make decks to put up and show niggas on your cell phone and sub shops at Firehouse sub shops. That's what y'all doing. Look at this deck I built on my phone. I don't play it much though, because it's always done by turn 3. I built a deck that I can't play.
Well, the reason
Congratulations.
why I have my Peripheros deck is because of that specific reason. Is either like when I play my Peripheros deck, everyone instantly targets me.
Hate.
Exactly. But those games, they expense all the resources on me, and then once I'm out of the picture, suddenly y'all are playing for another 45 to an hour and a half because the resources are gone. Now y'all are rebuilding the board, and then I may not have fun, but I'm just letting y'all know that
I ain't gonna lie, my whole
I got a
purpose
time limit
in the
on this. If
game
you
is
get me
slowing
out,
that bitch down. Because
Oh, yeah,
I want
you
to
do
play the
that.
game.
You
I slow
do
the
that.
bitch down
You do
because I
that.
want to play the game.
Yeah, you do that.
Well, you also like to politic.
I love the
Politics
politics.
fun. Yeah, that's part of the game.
I
which
love
is
the
definitely, yeah, you do.
politics,
You play the
dog.
politics well.
You like
Oh
making
my-
people fight and try
Oh
to
my god.
sway people away from
The
you.
love,
Be like,
the
don't
war,
look at
the
me.
blood.
Look at me.
I was like, hey man, I don't want to let that nigga on my block if I was you. I don't know. Looking kind of strong over there.
And I guess now to switch gears a little bit is the tie in the Elden Ring thing is that's why the release of Elden Ring, because I associate Magic the Gathering as like it's a game at the end of the day. It may be a card game, but it's a game. And then with the release of Elden Ring was such a breath of fresh air for the gaming community because it was just all the comments I heard and I agree with, which was it was a full game on release. Like you got the full game on release.
Right.
There was no pay to win kind of stuff. And then the actual game itself was good. It was good. Like I'm enjoying Elden Ring.
No, I am too.
Dude, it's a great
I am
game.
Too. I am too. Yeah.
How about you, Doc? I don't know if you've been playing it much recently because I remember you kind of like haven't really found the time because you got other
Dude,
games.
do you know how much? You know how far behind I am? I would have to build and add how much time I'd have to spend looking up cards, and I'm hours behind. Days, weeks worth of hours behind.
You're not that far behind. Your Tulane deck could definitely compete still.
Tulane.
Your Tulane deck could definitely
Put
compete
that one up, man. I think I got my last W with
Tulane. It was definitely with
it was
Tulane.
true.
Definitely with Tulane.
Oh, what was my other deck?
Your elemental deck.
No, I got rid of it then, and I did something.
I don't know. I just remember those are 2 decks off the top of my head, which
Yeah,
was
but True
no,
Lane.
you deconstruct the life gain deck for the True Lane Elemental deck.
Uh-huh.
That's what you did.
Okay. And then I had a wizard deck.
Making Frankensteins. But yeah, with Elden Ring, man, I did put some time into it. I haven't really put a lot of time into it because I know how big it is. And for me, like, honestly, it's just daunting. Like, the same thing happened with, I think the last game I played that was like this was Zelda. But, like, I was like, damn, this game's big. Like, I'm going to have to explore and I have to actually, like, go in there. And to me, it's just like, oh, like, it seems like so much. I know it's just like you take it step at a time, but it's just like, oh, I just don't really want to commit. And so that's why I haven't played too much of it. But from what I've heard and from what I've seen people enjoy out of it is that, like, the game itself is just, from what I can tell, the vibe is just honest, which is what people appreciate. Like, it's just a game, like you said, that was fully fleshed out. It's all there. I play on the computer, and the computer has like issues, and so I kind of haven't really wanted to play because of that as well. But for the most part, like, if you're playing it on the console and stuff like that, like, you have a good game that isn't like having all these extra, you know, issues or like monetary gains and stuff that are people trying to pull extra cash from you. It also isn't holding your hand. Like, I feel like it's made for
it's brutal.
for people that are like it understands its audience and it respects their intelligence, and that's something that I've heard that people really appreciate. It's not like you go up to a guy and the guy's like, go over there, and there's an immediate marker over the other fucking cow that you have to kill. You have to kill 5 of these cows for this guy, and then you have to go back, and then he's like, cool, now go kill 10 freaking squirrels. And it's not just like busy work.
Yeah, the tutorial
Like,
segment is quick. Like, it's real quick. You go through a small little like cave, and then it pretty much teaches you everything you know. And after that, it's like boom.
And then
you got the basics. We're throwing you in there. You better
first
get
monster
it down.
that you think you're supposed to fight, gold man on a with a gold axe on that
Tree
goddamn.
Sentinel.
Oh my god, son! My first fight, I come out the cave fresh out the womb. I'm like, okay, and this is my first time even playing a Souls type game. I'm like, okay, I got it, man. I hit him one time. That boy sliced my life away.
All right. Well, our camera died. I guess that's a sign that we've been talking longer than we usually do.
Yeah, it's time, my boy.
All right. Well, appreciate y'all for watching. Stay in tune. Listen to us rant about some games, Magic, and Elden Ring. Make sure you guys like if you haven't already liked the video. Make sure you subscribe if you aren't subscribed. Also, share our clips and share our segments. Let's bring more people in the conversations.
Let's do it.
Instagram and our TikTok, Fake Deep Thinking.
I'm coming home.
Go
woman.
follow, like, and share those clips. We see you next time on Fake Deep Thinking, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Coming
Welcome back to
home.
FDD. Just a group of friends sitting down talking about the world. Fake Deep Thinking, leave me alone. We
Fake
kind of
Deep Thinking.
John,
What's up, guys? You're.
Doc.
Yo. Yo, what's up?
What's up, Eugene?